Hey there, everyone. I hope you're all doing great and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about algorithms. I'm Mrs. D, and I would love for you to like, subscribe, and hit your notification button if you find anything on my channel interesting or this video helpful. So, algorithms. Now, I am not like super knowledgeable about algorithms. I feel like I had a huge gap in my technical abilities when I moved to Ecuador for 7 years and didn't have access to keep up with all of the latest technology. I was pretty good before then, and then there was a big gap, and so I feel like I'm still trying to catch up from that. But I did want to talk about algorithm because it's something that's really important for us as online teachers. So not just Outschool, but italki, probably Cambly, um, Outschool, Allschool, all of these platforms have an algorithm. So, what is an algorithm? An algorithm is basically like a language that a software or hardware has that it's a set of rules. So it's like it's instructions. A lot of the time it's if this happens, then do this. There's a couple of different things. I'm going to talk about those in a minute, but it's basically if you look up your definition, it's going to say it's a set of rules to be followed in calculating or problem solving, but especially for computers. So what does that mean? It means that data is entered into a system, okay, which in our case, we're talking about these platforms, right? And then that data is analyzed. And according to what the computer programmer has put in, it executes certain things, certain steps, certain processes based on what it analyzes out of the data that's put in. Okay. So there's three certain kinds of algorithms, and the first one is linear. So linear means data comes in, and then there's step one, then this, then this, then this. And so it's just like a straight line of processes that happen. Okay. Then there's conditional, and conditional is if this happens, then do this. Okay. So when we think of that in a teacher's, like as we're teaching on platforms, if a teacher lists a class, bump them up in the list. If a teacher gets 5 stars, bump them up in the list. If a teacher gets 1 star, bump them down in the list. If a teacher no shows, bump them down in the list. So there's these kinds of, gives and takes. Positive is going to move you up, a negative is going to move you down. That's the conditional. And I believe a lot of the platforms are going to be using a conditional algorithm. Okay. And then there's a loop one, and that's that it's a repeated action. That the data goes in, it's analyzed, and then there's a repeated action that happens. And I don't really completely understand that. So if you do, you could pop a comment in. But there may be a little bit of each of these kinds of algorithms put into the search engines. Okay. So artificial intelligent algorithms are the ones that are for places like Netflix and Facebook, and they are based off of the behavior of the user, right? So they learn our behavior and they give us results that they think we want. And the more we interact with the results, the more the algorithm learns that. Now, these are only artificial algorithms, right? Artificial intelligent algorithms. They learn the language based off of what we react to their results, and then they continue to refine the results and learn. Okay. So I think there's also an element of that in our platforms that we're working on. And then on top of that, we have the search engine algorithms. And the search engine algorithms are a collection of all of these, right? So you would have like the teacher part of the teacher algorithm. Then you have the family that's searching or the student that's searching for classes. That's an algorithm. Then the company like Outschool or italki and the things that they require as part of the algorithm. And so when they look at those algorithms based on the input, then the search result produces this. So that's a combination of these algorithms working together to produce um, a result for the user. And everything is always triggered by data that's entered. So as a teacher, I'm entering data. As a family looking for a class, I enter data, right? And then when that data is entered and analyzed and produces that result, those are the algorithm. And that is all laid out by the computer programmer in the very beginning. And there's a specific language. And positive actions are flagged and do certain things, and negative actions are flagged and do certain things. And so that's what causes algorithms, that's what causes us to move up and move down in an algorithm based on our actions and what is flagged as positive and what is flagged as negative. And that's why it's really important to do the things that are being suggested and that have shown results, because that means that's a positive movement for the algorithm. Okay. So a lot of the tips for Outschool specifically are: list a mixture of classes. Don't just do one kind. Don't just do one class. Don't do just ongoing. Do a mixture of different classes, different setups for those classes, outgoing, on multi-day, one time, because the more you have to offer the algorithm, the easier it can pull from your data, right? The number of sessions, they are now saying on Outschool to do 5 or more. So list 5 or more. That doesn't mean you're going to teach all of them, but you're just helping yourself hit that positive language and move up in the algorithm, okay? Send out invitations to people, because I believe that if people are being invited to the platform and the algorithm sees you as a money generator for Outschool, they're going to move you up in the list as well, right? List classes. Like the other day, I said I hadn't listed a class in my. I noticed this. I've been listing classes on the organization a lot. And when I do that, it seems like we get an influx of learners every single time the classes are approved. They're followed by learners enrolling, not necessarily in those classes, but just enrolling. And so I believe that there is a correlation there. And so the other day, I said I hadn't done anything. My enrollments are a little bit low on my personal account, and I hadn't listed a new class in a while. So I listed a new class, and I got a few enrollments in my ongoing classes. So I really do think that that is something to consider in tweaking your classes. Also, Outschool recommends that you respond quickly to any messages from parents. So being sure to respond to messages. These are all positive actions that the language of the algorithm is going to look at and push you up in the list. Okay. So that is algorithms in a nutshell. I hope it's been helpful for you to kind of understand algorithms and how they might work, and how that plays into us as online teachers working on these platforms to try to get as many positive flags in the algorithm and move yourself up as possible. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully it won't be so long between my next videos. And like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and leave me a comment. I really appreciate all of you guys. Take care.